flying by. Summer of AI is coming to a wrap, and it's time to put all this stuff together and either start a business, grow a business, or help people with their business. I know yesterday we went over a bunch of stuff here, a lot of questions, and we covered a lot of those questions. But today's that pushing the buttons day, right? I mean, we're focusing on pushing the buttons.
Yeah, we are building up to something really big here on day two. If you're with us yesterday, then you know everything you need to know about how to think about the social media handler as an offer, how it works as a business proposition, how to start having conversations about implementing it either in your own business with other stakeholders in your own organization or with your clients if you are in an agency or reseller capacity. And now today is going to be the more technical walkthrough, super straightforward about how to actually get one set up and get results with it. So I'm super excited to dive in.
Yeah, man, me too. And we got some new friends joining in. Look, I'm just gonna run down some housekeeping items here. If it's your first time tuning in with us, let us know it's your first time and welcome. We're glad to have you. We're gonna ask you to stay pretty engaged and consistent in the comments, whether you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook business page, the high level business page. That's where most of the conversation is gonna happen. If you're in one of our groups like our SaaSpreneur or our high level official community, you're more than welcome to comment there, but if you want to join the conversation, make your way to the Facebook business page, high level. We'll be there waiting for you. Um, there's a snapshot associated with this. There's a playbook associated with this. This is part of our AI employee theme that we've been having since early summer. And we're just adding another component to what you could use in your business, what you could help other businesses, or if you want to create an agency and you're brand new with us, this is a great foot in the door offer. So, for those of you that are tuning in and you're returning to us, thank you for joining us on day two and for being part of it. Comment where you're tuning in from below. Where are you tuning in from? And what are you most excited about when it comes to pushing the buttons today with the social media handler workshop? I'm going to go ahead and hit the next slide here and we'll watch those comments come in. But as always, we're going to be going over many parts of the high level platform. We'll be touching on some strategy. We'll be touching on some past results, some use cases, and all to say that results may vary. Past performance is not a guarantee of future performance, and high level is not guaranteed that you'll experience financial gain or generate revenue because results will vary. And as you are consuming this information and you're maybe pushing the buttons with us, just know that you might find something better than what we're sharing. And we encourage you to share that with us in the comments below. If you're using the tool now, let me know if you're using it now. Are you using conversations with social media as part of your day to day? Or are you looking to start using it? We definitely would like to get a nice idea of who's tuning in. All right. So for those of you that we have not got a chance to meet yet, my name is JB, and I'm going to be working alongside you as Haplin, our special guest, goes through all the items to launch your AI social media handler as part of the AI employee suite of products in the high level platform. And all to say that you're going to need a high level account to install the snapshot and to experience the setup that Haplin's going to be going over. And for those of you that have not had a chance to meet Haplin at one of our events or on our YouTube channel or in our playbooks, Haplin's been almost here for about a year and change, and he has been behind the scenes building and deploying all of our playbooks with our product marketing team and platform designers behind the scenes. He's been an awesome liaison of just trying to bring the product to the execution to you, our customers. But Haplin, for those of you that quite don't understand where your past experience starts and where it ends and all that good stuff, could you share a little bit about your story for those that are just tuning in for the first time?
Yeah, absolutely. Super excited to share a little bit more. I mentioned this before that basically my job here is to just show people how easy it is to succeed with high level. That's really it. And I truly believe that it is. And I'm excited to show you guys today, again, just how easy it is to succeed. My story is that I used to work with a digital marketing agency. I've got a degree in psychology. If I was just thinking about this today, if I worked for another SaaS or some big marketing operating system type of platform, there's a great chance that someone in a role similar to mine would need like a computer science degree to be able to do what I'm doing. And folks watching this call, you would need a computer science degree to be able to implement it, what I'm trying to show you, right? But that's not the way HighLevel works, right? HighLevel is about getting powerful tools into the hands of users that can use them with ease, right? These are like layman accessible. These are what's the right word? Very pedestrian in terms of the ease of implementation. And that's my story. I'm some nobody who used to work for a marketing agency, and we needed to find solutions, technological solutions for our clients. And so I was trying out all these different softwares and trying to learn how to set up all these different systems. Found HighLevel in 2018, and I never looked back. I've been working with the platform for, gosh, almost 7 years now, coming up right up on 7-year anniversary that I've worked directly for HighLevel for the last 18 months. So I'm super excited, super passionate about diving into today's topic, just to show you guys what I know, show you guys how to click some buttons and get similar results to what hundreds, thousands of our agencies in our community are already able to do.
Absolutely. And Hapla, thank you again for that. For those of you that are right now with us, right, live, you're watching the replay, let us know your story. How did you find High Level? And what do you enjoy most? Where did you come from? Did you just wake up and become a marketer, or was this something you transitioned to? We would love to know and be a way to spark the conversation with each other. So I'm going to continue on here as we get moving. So, for those of you that have been commenting below, we are excited to have you join us. We've noticed that more and more people around the globe join us at these events, and then they end up attending our events, whether it's in the country or out of the country. So, thank you so very much. But if you haven't had a chance, comment below. And Haplin, I know you're going to share your screen because I
Mhm.
definitely I know you have your pace and your flow. I'm going to stop sharing on my end, and I'm going to be on the lookout here to see where everybody's from, and so we can get this going here.
Great. Okay. Let me share my screen. And I think, let me just double check. Are y'all able to see?
See the
No,
cool
that's not,
forest.
that is not it.
This is an example of you needing a sign. What was this? What degree did you say?
Yeah,
What you
psychology
call it?
degree. That's that psychology degree at work, guys.
There we go. Let's see.
Let's
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 try one
try
more
that one
time.
more time here. All right, there we go. Over to the deck, slideshow. How are we looking now?
Ta-da!
All right. Very good. Like I said, I'm not a big techie person, you guys. I just figuring it out here just like you guys are. But the good news is that HighLevel is so easy to implement. Just a quick recap. Yesterday, we went over overview and positioning. Today is setup and deployment. So let's get straight into it. Does this sound familiar? New social media engagement. Some business, and maybe it's your business, maybe it's your client's business, maybe this is just a business that you know of. Some business is doing some activity on social media to try to get noticed. They hope they go viral so that they can get more clients, make more sales, whatever. They get engagement. The new lead or the viewer or the audience member reads a bit, watches a bit, whatever. There's no CTA, and or maybe they DM or maybe they try to engage with that business, but it goes unresponded. There's no quick and easy connection point that the business is able to make with the people who are engaging with their content. That lead goes away. New social media marketing, new investment into content management, analytics, whatever, it all is just a waste. That is what most businesses are doing right now. Let's replace that with the better way. There is a better way. And now let's see what happens when there's new social media engagement and there's a clear CTA and or a DM gets responded to right away because the business now has an AI social media handler that does FAQs, lead qualification, appointment booking, follow-up, etc., even sharing promotional codes, checkout pages, helping you make sales from inside of your DMs. A sales rep that lives inside of your DMs on Facebook and Instagram that just helps make a connection with that lead and help them take the next step. For higher price points, maybe it's just contact information and a little bit of qualification, setting an initial consultation, whatever. For lower price points, maybe they're taking it all the way to sale, right? Um, Now the lead gets into the sales pipeline and starts moving forward, and new social media marketing equals positive ROI. A really good example from my actual real life: I just got a tattoo recently, and the way that I found the artist was on Instagram. Super common way. All the friends that I have who have gotten tattoos, they found someone on Instagram and they DM them to try to book, right? And I went with the one who responded to me first. I found a couple great artists, and I really, was a fan of a couple different styles of art. And put a few feelers out, cast a wide net, and sent a few DMs out. And the one who got my business was the one who, well, one got back to me quickly, and their price point was outside my budget. So, take it all with a grain of salt. But basically, the one that I went with was the one who was actually present, who responded to me, who said, "Hey, thanks so much for reaching out," and wanted to talk through the options and get me into the flow and just make a connection with me. They were local, just down the street, made me feel like they were there, like they were excited to work with me, and they ended up getting my business. And so that's a really clear example of a business that thrives on trying to make connections on social media, get noticed on social media. If that business or if that artist had an AI social handler that responded to me within the first minute of my inquiry, then that would have been even a no brainer. So that business still won, even though they took a few hours to get back to me. Think of how much more successful a business would be with an AI social media handler. So that is the proposition. Just to recap that really fast, in terms of what are we doing here? What's the outcome? What's the result of the value that we're trying to provide, either into our own business or into a client's? That is the way this is going to go. JB, does that make sense? I want to just pause even right there. Do we understand what most businesses are doing right now, why that's not working very well, or why there's an opportunity to improve, and what that opportunity is in terms of the AI social handler?
Absolutely, and even when I'm looking for things to buy or just information, I'm not filling out a contact form, right? I'm automatically
Right.
assuming that if it's a big company or a company that is active on social media, they got someone watching it, and it makes a total sense. And I mean, people are asking right now in the comments what kind of tattoo you got. So not to put you on the spot, man, but you know, you definitely sparked some interest here. But such a service like that, which requires trust, reputation. It started on
Mhm.
Instagram, which is right, kind of kind of different than maybe how it was almost 2 decades ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the way we're doing business now is more and more and more businesses. There's still some that are more conducive than others for social media, but just generally the overall trend is more businesses doing their work on
So
social media. It's the
yeah,
way
and
it's
so
going.
now I'm thinking here, Haplin, someone that is not social media savvy. They're like, ah, that social media is not my thing. Where could they start without putting their face or their fear of in the way?
Yeah, well, I mean, so that gets us into a whole strategic conversation about like the strategy of a social media uh, yeah, like a social media strategy for a local business. And there's actually a lot of different solutions to this. That's actually why this workshop is focused on the handler conversational piece of it, because that is like very plug and play and replicable, and it works kind of the same every time. So different brands will have all different types of ideas about what kind of creative videos they want to make and shoot, and there's a ton of agencies out there. So in 2025, in this agency saturated world, there's millions of people who would love to try to make little videos for you. You could hire a family member, some college kid, a couple $100 a month to do a little couple pieces of content. There's all kinds of ways to outsource the actual social media management. And I'm sure there's a lot of agencies watching this call right now, this webinar, who that's what they do. They've built a whole successful business, and more power to you. That's an excellent service. And this is a great little thing you can tack on to that service to just actually tie that activity to the sales outcomes that your clients actually desire at the end of the day: real revenue, sales pipeline movement in their business. But if you're in a place where that's not you, that's okay. You don't have to be the genius, creative person who's making TikTok videos and dancing in their faces everywhere, and you're trying to become an influencer and go viral and all these things. Even businesses that are relatively creative. I've worked with a couple businesses that still choose to outsource some of their creative stuff and outsource their social media management just for the headache of it. So they pay an agency to go make out all the content for them. But then what they're really focused on is not necessarily the creative content. Obviously, you want to be on brand, and there's all sorts of things on the strategic side to talk through there. But once that's kind of locked in and you've got a good schedule for posting and all that, what you really want to do is focus on what is the sales strategy for how do we tie engagement to the rest of the sales pipeline? What are we going to do to drive people going from just engaging, just viewing, liking, or commenting, and how do we turn that into a meaningful conversation that actually gets results? And the AI social handler is a pivotal step in drawing that line to the rest of that sales process. Does that
Yeah.
sort of make sense?
It absolutely does. And I know we're going to run through those buttons that we got to push and, get
Totally.
there. But again, like Kaplan said, if you're not super social media savvy, this is exactly for you. And this is exactly why you need to keep tuning in. So,
Yeah.
where do we go from here?
So let's go. Yeah, here's what's going to happen. We are going to learn all of these things right now. And guys, the way I used to do these types of calls is I would actually end the deck, end the slideshow, and share my screen and go click buttons inside of the platform totally live. And that's totally fine. But just when we're doing these webinars and I've got the nice mic and the camera and the streaming setup and everything, pages tend to load slowly. So what I do now is in advance, I go do little screen recordings and create GIFs for you. So we're going to run through the exact screen that you'll be needing to click. So if you have another tab open with HighLevel open, this is a great opportunity for you to actually click the buttons alongside me. But yeah, this will just help us be more efficient and streamlined without having to wait for a bunch of load screens. So here's the plan. We got to turn on the AI employee. We need to integrate the relevant social accounts. And then we've got to go build a conversation AI bot to go live inside those accounts. And there's a couple steps that we'll go through there with brand voice, settings, goals, training, knowledge base, additional instructions. And then we will talk about deployment and iterative development. So that is all of the tech that we're about to cover right now. And I promise you, this is way simpler than it looks. All of it's very intuitive. Um, if little old me could figure it out, then I promise you, you guys can figure it out. So the first step is we need to go turn on the AI employee. So just to get access to any AI features at all, we need to go to agency settings. You can see I'm clicking settings and then I'm clicking company. Scroll down and there's a little toggle for AI employee that may be already on for you, like it is for me. So settings, company, and then scroll down. If it's not on, turn it on. If it is on, you're already good, right? Now, some people get tripped up on this step just because settings for agency is different than location. So if in the top left-hand side of my screen, you can see it says click here to switch, that's how you know you're in agency settings. If you see the name of a company, that means you're in the sub location, you're in the sub account, and you need to go back into agency view. Click in that top left hand corner and click switch to agency view. But if you see the words click here to switch in the top left, then you already know you're in the right place. If you get lost, it's probably because you're looking inside of a sub location, but we want to get into the agency view, go into agency settings, and turn on AI employee for the whole agency. So hopefully that all makes sense. Once you have AI employee turned on, then for individual sub accounts, we're going to make sure that it's on for them. So we turn it on for the agency, and then we still have control over which sub accounts are able to see it. You can have as many sub accounts as you want for as many different clients as you're serving. So, probably for most of the newer users, you won't have a ton of sub accounts. You may just have one for your own business. Totally fine. You still want to go make sure that it's turned on for that sub account. So in agency settings, I just clicked AI employee. I found the sub account and I just made sure under feature that that toggle is turned on. That's all we got to do. AI employee, find the sub account. If you have a big list, or all of your sub accounts will be listed right there. Make sure that it's turned on for the sub account that you're working in. Okay. Hopefully that all makes sense. JB, feel free to stop me if you feel like if there's a question that I'm missing, or if even in your mind there's an opportunity for more clarity. But that is oh, whoopsie, sorry about that, friends. Oops, I need to, here, let me Let me stop my share really quick and get
No worries.
myself
Yep.
a
So,
little bit
folks,
situated
couple
here.
questions
Sorry
for
about that.
couple questions for all of you here. Um, how many of you right now have an Instagram or Facebook business page that you're driving traffic to with paid ads? By a show of comments, how many of you are driving paid traffic to your Instagram or your Facebook business page as we speak, currently doing it now, right? And then how many of you are having conversations where you're reaching out to people, whether it's lukewarm, you're reaching out to people that subscribe to your service, but you're engaging with them through Instagram or Facebook Business Messenger. Let me know in the comments below. Again, and I'm just trying to figure out here how many of you like maybe have some customers or have relationships, whether you're a marketer, agency, freelancer, or you're just running your business using HighLevel directly. Are you having those social media conversations? And when doing so, are you leading them to book an appointment, or are you leading them to fill out some sort of form, or are you giving them, a QR code, or are you giving them some sort of website or membership course to be a part of? What do you do in that messenger? What's the goal that you have? And as you start to see some of the responses here, my hope is that some of our more veteran customers and users will share, hey, I do this, I do that, and give an example in their day to day. But with what you're going to learn here, and with the messenger and for Instagram and Facebook, is you're going to need to get that calendar up and running. You're going to need to get that ebook or lead magnet up and running, because if it's people that are not your customer yet, you need to guide them to what to do next. And if they are your customer, you're just making them more stickier with you. They're going to have more longer conversations and be part of your service longer. So I know, Haplin, it looks like you got your screen back up here that
I'm
we're
ready.
all right, man. Sweet.
Okay, yeah. Thanks for filling in there. Sorry, I had a little
Yeah.
technical glitch. Just want to keep track of where we're at on this list. I'm going to be going back, referencing this list of the tasks that we have to complete in order to be ready to deploy. Right. So we just hit turn on AI employee. Step one, done. You got it turned on, and then you have it visible for a particular sub account where we're going to be implementing it. Now it's time to integrate Facebook and Instagram in a sub account. Now you want to go into that sub account and go into the sub account settings. And then under settings, there is a button called integrations on the left hand side. Once we get this GIF rolling back around here, you'll see my screen recording settings. And then scroll down, click integrations over on the left hand side. And then one of those integrations is Facebook and Instagram. All you're going to do is log into your Facebook account. Make sure that your Facebook account has admin access to a Facebook business page that you want represented. That's the way the whole integration works. Once you have logged in, see continue as Haplin, you can see that I've got 3 pages there that are blurred out. 2 of them have connected Instagram accounts. And so you'll be able to tell by that little Instagram icon next to them. So you don't have to do both. You can do just one or the other in terms of which messages you want to integrate into conversations. But obviously, to get the most bang for your buck for businesses who are doing activities on both, you want to do both. So that is integrating Facebook and Instagram at the sub location level. That is how conversations are all going to be pulled in from those platforms into the conversations tab of HighLevel. And at this point, you could have a human conducting conversations on Instagram and Facebook from inside of HighLevel. Those conversations are going to come into HighLevel. And so that integration for conversations is already set up. The rest of what we're going to be doing is setting up the conversation AI bot to be able to actually respond to them. So that's integrate Facebook and Instagram. Very simple. I just showed you what buttons to click. And guys, by the way, if this is a little too fast for you, you can always catch the replay, and or we go in depth on this in every single step that I'm going to show you right now. We also do this in playbook format, in digital course format that you can go through at your own pace. So however you want to do it, you can totally do it. I'm going to make sure I show you how to get access to the AI social media handler playbook so that you can rewatch through all this content, pause, rewind, do whatever you want to do to make sure that you have what you need to succeed with this. But the next step, build conversation AI. We're going to actually get into it. Next up, in your sub account, you click AI agents, then conversation AI, then create bot. You can do general Q&A or appointment booking. Even if you start with general Q&A, you can still add appointment booking. But if you start with appointment booking, it saves you a couple clicks. So if you already know you want your bot to set appointments on a calendar, then you can start with that. But in this example, I just start with general Q&A, and then I show you what buttons to click if you also want to add appointment booking. And just like that, now we're in this brand voice area, which is the next step, but this is how you actually build a bot. So this is the button that you click in order to build your very first conversation AI bot. Really straightforward. Once you have done that, you can see we click AI agents, conversation AI, create bot, continue. Now we land on this brand voice page. That's where the next GIF picks up. So let's just check this out. We have a brand voice that we're going to create with a bunch of fields that are just intuitive, just to kind of let the bot know what is the vibe of your business or your brand. Like what is the voice of the business? How do you want what do you want the bot to know about the business in order to be able to represent it in a way as if it were an actual employee that really believed in that business, that was ready to represent you? So there's a couple different fields here. Brand name, company email, phone number. This is really straightforward stuff. I don't need to teach you guys about this. Tone of voice actually is a preset list of all these different tones it can take, like professional, friendly, humorous. So you just assign it one of the voices, one of the tones, so that matches up with the vibe that you want it to have as it's talking to people. Then there is this additional information below that. That screen looks like this: target audience, brand promise, what does your brand do, unique selling proposition, call to action, customer pain points, brand values, what makes you better than competitors, risks of inaction, what's the opportunity cost of them not moving forward down the sales pipeline, and just the overall type of business. So like I said, these are not all required fields. Some of them are. Target audience, customer pain points are required fields. The rest of them are not. They're optional. The more information you give the bot, the better. And some of them kind of cross over too, like brand promise and what does your brand do, and unique selling proposition. You might be a little confused about exactly what to put where. It's not the most important. The more information is better, and just answer to the best of your ability, but it's not going to make or break your bot being able to say the right thing if you have a brand promise that goes inside of what does your brand do or whatever. So don't overthink things. Don't get too, and I know I'm a very analytical person. So the first time I saw this, I was like, wait, what's the difference between unique selling proposition and what does your brand do? And it's like, it's okay. It's okay to just be intuitive, represent your business. If it gets too frustrating, you can always skip it and come back. Don't feel like you have to put a Bible's length of words inside of every field. It's okay. Just kind of go with the flow. Make sure that you have a sense of confidence in the business that you are representing. Feel free to get this information from your client and copy and paste it in, but don't let this trip you up. This is not the place to get into a place we call analysis paralysis. This is where you want to make sure you just kind of move forward, and you can always come back and optimize this later. Once you have that set up, you will save that as a brand voice, and then you will select that brand voice. So you can see I named my example Haplin's brand voice, and it's going to use that brand voice for this bot. It's nice to have these brand voices saved, because then when you use AI in other places in the platform, you can have it reference the same brand voice, and it's all centralized without you having to recreate bot prompts, basically, if you're using different AI features. So that's just a really nice, efficient way to do that. So we have actually constructed the bot, and we've set up its voice. Now we'll get into what's called bot settings. Super simple. We want to give it a name. Name your bot something. Preferred channels by default, it covers all the channels. So if you really just want it doing Instagram and Facebook, make sure it's just Instagram and Facebook. If you know that you're going to be trying to solicit contact information and maybe generate a lead via getting their email and phone number, as well as just having the conversation inside of the social media channel. You may want to turn SMS on or WhatsApp on, because you may gather that contact information and have a workflow automatically follow up in the direct marketing channel. And I'll just tell you guys right now, SMS, oops, pardon me, SMS and WhatsApp is really, really, really powerful, because they're direct marketing channels that when you generate that lead compliantly and have consent to receive marketing and stuff, you can continue to reach out indefinitely as long as you do it right. And it's really easy. HighLevel actually helps put guardrails up to make sure that you're doing it right. So inside of HighLevel, this is a no-brainer. On Facebook and Instagram, you only have a certain window of time. You had, just because somebody DM'd you doesn't mean you have an actual lead that you can go continue to send direct marketing messages to. Obviously, Instagram and Facebook doesn't want businesses just spamming people inside of their DMs. So those businesses, those platforms don't allow us to do that. But once you have a name and phone number and you have an SMS conversation with them, now you actually do have the ability to do database reactivation, seasonal promotions, follow up with them the next week or whenever they ghost you, etc. So if you do plan on doing that, you can have the AI bot also manage those channels for you as well. But Instagram and Facebook are the ones that we need. We need those turned on if we want to have our DMs handled for us. So next up, bot's initial message. This is actually not quite relevant to us unless we're doing outbound, which we're really not. So make this the primary bot. Turn this on for right now. I'm not going to get too deep into explaining why. Advanced users will be able to understand. But if you're a new user, if this is your first time building conversation AI, make it the primary bot. Wait time before responding. If you want to intentionally add a little bit of extra time, just so that it's not like boom, boom, gives it more of a human feel. We're not necessarily trying to mislead anyone or misrepresent the bot as a human. I recommend against that. Better to just have a good AI bot that self-identifies as an AI bot, but it can still be a little weird to just have as the lead, as the potential customer, you send a message and it's like, whoa, they responded like right away, right away. That's crazy. So sometimes people like to add a little bit of wait time. And that's settings. Boom, we're done. Moving on. Bot goals. This is a little bit of a bigger one. Information collection, you can decide what you want the bot to collect as far as information. By default, it wants to grab the name. And the cool thing about Instagram and Facebook in particular is that when somebody DMs in, it's going to take their name as it is in their profile on that platform and input it inside of HighLevel as their name. So HighLevel actually automatically generates their name based on the information that they've already given to Instagram and Facebook. So that's not as important. But we can also do asking them for their email and phone, as you can see below. Um, this is really helpful for like what I just said before, right? If you're trying to actually take over some of those direct marketing channels, get them into your newsletter, get them into some real sales follow up, you want to transfer the conversation over to a direct marketing channel, because you won't be able to sustain it for very long inside of Facebook and Instagram. So we can do that with name, email, phone number. We can also add custom stuff. So if I was a veterinarian and I wanted to know what type of pet do you have, a dog or a cat or whatever, I could create a custom field for the pet type and then have my bot make sure that it asks them what kind of pet that they have and then update that contact info as well. So we can do whatever we want. Skip if already filled. Obviously, this is good to turn on unless you have a good reason to keep it off. Here's where we can turn on appointment booking, set up a calendar, have the bot ask if they would like to set up a consultation, etc. You turn that toggle on, and then there's some really straightforward options that you have in order to just signify which calendar, how you want the bot to share times, do you want to allow cancellation rescheduling, some simple things like that. And then email notification settings, making sure that if the bot doesn't know an answer to a question or if it gets stuck, that it can reach out to a human and have the human step in. So that's good to turn on if you want to make sure that there's a way for the humans to know kind of what's going on with the bot, especially at the beginning. Alrighty, so there's bot goals, and now we get into bot training. This is pretty fun. In order to train the bot even further, and again, there's kind of some overlap here. We've been training the bot already in a sense with the brand voice and all this stuff, Don't get too caught up on the exact boundaries between each of these areas. Everything is just more opportunities to give the bot more information to help it make better decisions. So as long as there's nothing nefarious or misleading about the information that we're giving it, more is better. Generally, that's kind of the rule of thumb. Obviously, exceptions to the rule, but we can add a knowledge base. And a knowledge base is super awesome because this is all of the technical knowledge about the business. It's less about the tone of the business, which is more brand voice, and more about just the hard facts that it needs to know in order to answer questions and represent the business well. There are three different types of knowledge sources. We have the web crawler, the FAQ, and upload files. It's all really straightforward. The web crawler is awesome. What you can do is basically you just put a URL inside of the web crawler and then click this button that says extract data. And what happens is HighLevel will go secretly visit that website, scan through it, consume all of the images and all the text that it can, every piece of media that it possibly that it can. It will consume that and it will log it, and it will basically train itself on all of the data. So if you have like store hours, or if you have different pricing options, or like any of the information that you're sharing on your website, you can just put that URL inside of the knowledge base, have HighLevel just train itself on it, and it just transfers all the information from the business's website straight into the knowledge base. So you can either do an exact URL, all URLs in the path, or all URLs in the domain. So if you do all in the domain and just put the home site, then it will even go through and not just consume that one page, but it will click the About Us page, the Contact Us page, the pricing page, the options page, like all of the different pages. It will go through all of it and train itself on all of it. Does it automatically with just a click of a button. Super powerful, super easy to use. FAQs, this is where you can actually just put questions and answers straight in. You can type in the question, type in the correct answer, click save, and you'll have a whole library, a big old list of FAQs. And then upload files. This is actually still coming very soon. Very soon you'll be able to like upload a PDF or a Word doc or whatever with just instructions about the business, and just another way to give the bot more information. But we actually have an awesome workaround for this. I actually think upload files is not even necessary. We're still going to add it, but I want to share with you guys, we have a way to work around that, which is if you have a file that you do want to upload, just copy and paste it into a Google Doc. Set the Google Docs share settings to anyone can view, at least view. They don't have to be able to edit or comment, but view. Anyone with the link can view. And then put that link inside of the web crawler. So back up to here, if you just put the Google Doc link into this guy and extract the data, then you get to the same place in the end. So that's the easy workaround. You don't even really need to be able to upload files, but it will be there very soon, just in case there are people who want to do it that way. Anyways, those are the three areas for knowledge base expansion, for building a knowledge base. Once you have a knowledge base, then here, this is inside of agent goals and the AI setup piece. We can select knowledge base. And so you actually save the knowledge base similar to brand voice. That's actually saved outside of just this specific bot, because you can use that knowledge base and reference it with other AI implementations inside of HighLevel. So once you have the knowledge base set up, you just have to specify that it's going to reference this knowledge base for this bot. You can see I select main knowledge base and then I click save. Once you do select a knowledge base, there's an extra little field here that you'll see pop up. When to use this knowledge base, it already has a default in there that's pretty dang accurate. So I don't feel like you have to change anything, but you can review that and specify exactly when you want the bot to lean on the knowledge base versus not. So that's that. We have now gotten through bot training and how to set up a knowledge base and apply it to your bot. All of this is very intuitive and you're walked through it step by step. If you've been clicking alongside me, then you will have seen that this is the way bot setup goes when you first turn on conversation AI and build a bot. It's going to take you through brand voice, bot settings, bot goals, and bot training. And then the last additional area is just called additional information. And this is where we can have conversation guidelines set up. And again, it's like we've given the bot so much information, and then this is just a catch-all for even more. What you want it to say, anything you specifically don't want it to say, and just additional information, the way you want it to conduct conversations above and beyond the information that you've given it already. There are some defaults in there with some good examples of things that work in most cases, but you'll probably want to take a quick look at that and make sure that you specify any of those additional instructions for conversation guidelines. But there's not really anything specific or strategic. No special tricks to pull here. It's just there if you need it. There's additional instructions, and that is everything that there is to training a bot, with one exception. We will talk a little bit more about how to make your bot even better, but that is like the initial setup process. Everything about that made sense, right? Was there anything in there that was computer science degree level complicated in terms of programming and AI to whatever? No, we're not interested in any of that stuff at all. We just have very simple questions that it asks us about our business, what types of outcomes we're trying to achieve, what contact information we need to generate. Do we want to book an appointment? Do we want to share a link? Do we, and when and where and why? So we just basically train it the same way that we would train a new human employee. It shouldn't take anything special. If we had a new human employee who was going to take over these channels for us, we would just tell them what to say and how our business works and how to represent us. That's basically the same thing that we have to do, except now it's going to be way cheaper and way more reliable and way easier to control and ensure quality. So that's how that goes. I want to pause here just because the last two steps are going to be a little bit more higher level, and I'm super excited to get to them. But JB, I just want to take a quick temperature check. Does this all seem pretty accessible to you? Do you feel like you could set up a bot at this point?
When this all first came out, absolutely not, because it was so overwhelming. You prompting and then tonality and then if this then that, then it was like almost building like a workflow. It felt like, but
Hmm.
in the last couple of months, it's visible that our high level development team behind the scenes has put together this like easy way to just tell what your business is about and let the back end of it do the work.
Hmm.
And my biggest aha moment happened was it's not even so much for me personally as an agency, it's how easy my customer that I can charge 297, 497, bundle it with other services and charge a premium, could handle it and self-service it, or at least feel like they have the control they want so they don't try to search for another product to replace the one that I'm selling them. And the power in this is the knowledge base. That's fairly new. And what I really saw about the knowledge base was that I could literally scrape it really quick and then add my own Q&A. Now, one thing that is coming up in the chat here is what is the best way to test it all out?
Yeah. Yeah, we're getting to testing it right now, so that's a perfect question to ask. As we'll talk about that in just a second. But you do bring up a really good point too that I wanted to touch on. A lot of folks watching this call are not going to have all of the information um, about a particular business because you may be working with a client, somebody you're connected to in your network. You may be trying to resell this service in an agency capacity. That is a very common like the most common situation for high level users as we work with agencies who resell the platform to their clients alongside whatever other services. And so you're still absolutely in the right place because guys, you can get your client into this sub account and have them walk through this stuff. And part of the whole reason I have a job and why I'm the guy running this webinar is because I know how to make things uh, uh, easy, simplify them, and build belief in people that they can do this. A lot of people, when they first get onto the platform, like JB was talking about, when they first see all the different fields, it can get confusing. And I admit, even I was a little confused at first, getting caught up on the individual pieces of brand voice and bot settings and goals and training. There's all these different areas and whatever. And a lot of people just get into analysis paralysis. A lot of people get paralyzed. A lot of people just get stuck. They get caught up thinking there must be something that I'm missing. I'm not quite good enough to succeed with this. I don't have a bunch of confidence. I'm not ready. And so they just never move forward. And the whole reason I have a job is because I'm the guy who just moves forward. I was just like, we're just going to figure this out one way or another. And I'm very lucky to have a lot of help and support. But part of the reason for this webinar and this call is for me to transfer that onto you for watching this. So if you're working with a business, now my job has become your job. This is one of the most important parts. It's really actually easy to succeed with. But if you just set up a new sub account and toss your new client in there and say good luck and don't support them through that, they're probably not going to get it all set up. They're probably going to get stuck just in the way that I was talking about. They need to just get a little bit of help, and not just help clicking the buttons, although of course you can show them integrations, Facebook, Instagram. Yeah, you know what buttons to click now, but you also have the communicability, right? You also have that belief now. You've seen me do it. I highly recommend you set up a test one for yourself to continue to build confidence, just so you really know how easy it is to set up a bot. And we'll talk about deployment here in just a second. But this is a huge part of agency success based on my experience as an agency, my experience doing sales, etc. Like, so much of this is about the mindset, transferring that belief onto your client, of just making sure that they are building that confidence in how easy it is to move forward, that they're not getting stuck off in the weeds or in the little details that turns out those details never really mattered, but they can just get beginners stuck because the beginner doesn't have enough confidence, or like they're not techie people or whatever. So now you've seen that all of these are opportunities to just give the bot more information. The more information, the better, for the most part, with a couple exceptions. Obviously, if you're intentionally trying to trip it up, then you can. So please don't work in bad faith with your own conversation AI bot. But for the most part, it's like the more information, the better. Everything's just an opportunity to give it more to work with. And you just keep moving forward, keep clicking the next button. Know that you can always come back and add more if you want later. But the most important thing is just moving forward and getting it to the point of deployment, which is where we're at right now. How do we actually deploy this? Super straight up. AI agents, go to Conversation AI. You will see your AI listed there. And under set bot status, it should be off. And you just want to turn it to autopilot. Once you do that, it is live. It is ready to respond to every inbound message. So super easy, assuming that it's turned on for those channels. If it's the primary bot and it's turned on for Facebook and Instagram, and you set that thing on autopilot, it is off to the races. So you'll notice there's actually an option in between off and autopilot called suggestive. That can be a very, very dip your toes in the water, timid way to get started, where after an inbound Facebook message, it will not respond, but it will give you possible responses. It will generate potential responses. Pardon me. And that will it will show you what it wants to say, like three different options, and then you can choose the right one, and just kind of like, basically you are the filter for what it's going to say, whether it actually sends the message or not. That way you can review what it's going to say and see if that's actually what you want to send, go back to the bot training or whatever else to make sure that that's all set up correctly. If you want to go as, you know, improve it before you actually turn it on, that's suggestive mode. But I recommend against that, because again, the whole point is that we need to be responding to people. Typically, a faster response, even if it's imperfect, is better than waiting a whole day to respond, right? I would rather make the connection and have that connection, that conversation going with the lead, even if I'm, only 85% nailing the actual tone or the information being shared. We can improve that for sure. But the difference between responding to a message and not responding for a day or more is monumental. We want to prioritize the response. So I recommend getting to the point of confidence where you're ready to turning on, when you're ready to turn it on, and then take the leap. Go ahead and turn on autopilot, because we can continue to optimize as we go. And then I highly recommend jumping into that Facebook account, that Instagram account, sending a message and testing. But speaking of testing, we can actually test this thing before we turn it live. We don't have to go to autopilot and then generate a DM conversation, and that's the only way we can do it. Not at all. We have this thing called iterative development that I'm going to share with you right now, We want to cultivate a mindset of a work in progress. We want to get it turned on because, again, responding to messages is better than not responding to them at all, which is what most businesses are doing right now. But even before it's on, we can head over to bot training, and there's this whole area on the side of your screen called test your bot, where we can have a full conversation with our bot. And it's really, really helpful to be able to do that because we can train it as we go with that conversation. So you can see I click bot training, send a message, I type in a message. How much does your service cost? It says our service costs 97, blah, blah, blah. And I actually clicked the thumbs down there. There are three options that show up every time the bot responds to a message. A thumbs up, which basically just reinforces it, you tell it it's doing a good job. And then there won't be anything else to do. It just notes that, says thank you, and then moves on. If you put a thumbs down, though, then it pulls up an FAQ. So JB was just talking about that knowledge base. This is a massive, massive boon to the knowledge base with that FAQ section, because now you can build out that FAQ section of your knowledge base based on actual conversations that you're having. So, bot training, we asked the question, the bot responded, oops, it said something I didn't like, or it said it the wrong way, or whatever. Click that thumbs down button, and now it creates an FAQ, where the Q is the thing that I actually asked in the conversation, and the A is what it wanted to say, and it asked me to update that. So you can see I go ahead and update that, and now that FAQ gets added to that knowledge base, and the bot gets reinforced to answer it the correct way the next time. So it's only ever going to make a mistake once, because once you correct it, it's not going to make that mistake again, because it's going to reference that knowledge base. So that's bot training inside of the bot testing inside of the bot training area. The really cool thing about this, though, is that it also still applies even when you actually deploy it. So when it's having live conversations, you can see now I'm in conversation view inside of HighLevel. This is a real conversation, somebody DMing the business on Facebook or on Instagram. It works the same way. So once that comes in, we can see it still has those three options: thumbs up, thumbs down. And then the third option that I haven't covered, it's like these two little star icons that actually just pulls up the prompt, and it explains to you, hey, here's all the information that the bot was relying on in order to come up with the answer that it did. And it gives you the option to pull up that prompting and open up that different area to override that, whether it's yeah, you can see, so that prompt, and we can edit that prompt as needed. So we can actually go deeper into not just FAQs, but into the rest of the bot settings, the brand voice, the additional instructions, the training, et cetera, et cetera. We can open up any piece of the bot that we want to continue to develop it. So that is why not only you have the ability to test it before you turn it live, but then even after you turn it live, you have the ability to always be fully in control of making sure that the bot will never make a mistake more than once, because you can review it, give it that thumbs down to override it, or just develop your prompt even further from there. So you're always going to have full visibility and a full sense of control over exactly how you want the bot to operate. That continues to happen even after you have it launched. So it's not like you have to get it set up perfectly and then deploy it. In fact, I think if that were the case, we would see like very little success with HighLevel. That is one of the genius things about HighLevel. It's integral to our culture here, is that we get to the minimum viable product, and then we launch, and then we iterate, and things get better and better once they're actually out there in the world collecting data. We're seeing results with it. That is what gives us the insight and experience and confidence that we need to know, oh yeah, okay, here's how I can take it from an 8 out of 10 to a 9 out of 10, or a 9 out of 10 to a 9.5, or whatever, just in terms of its efficacy and whatever. That happens fast, and it happens powerfully when we have the confidence to go ahead and turn it on, even if it's only at a 7 or an 8 to begin with. Because, guys, also, you want to remember that a 7 or an 8 out of 10 is still way better than what the vast majority of businesses are doing right now, which is a 0 out of 10. They're just not doing anything, right? So get it turned on, get it responding to messages. You can develop it and iterate better versions of it over time. That is my encouragement to you guys, to please don't let yourself be held back by thinking, oh, it's not perfect yet, so I can't launch it. It doesn't have to be perfect to launch it. It just has to be better than what they're doing right now or what your own business is doing right now, which is probably nothing or probably responding to messages days after they come in. So that is iterative development. That concludes our whole step-by-step overview. And congratulations, guys. You now have everything that you need in order to launch your own your own AI social media handler. JB, I want to pass it back to you really quick just so I can grab a drink of water. Did that all make sense, man? What kind of questions do we have?
Oh, absolutely. And the infamous question that does come up from time to time is, how do I install the snapshot to turn on the conversation AI? And I know that there are many different ways to set up conversation through Snapshot, through the chat widget, through SMS, through social media, so on and so forth. So with this particular one, um, if they want to install the chat widget on the website and turn it on, do they need to install a separate snapshot to use it?
Yeah, so actually, this is just a feature that doesn't require a snapshot to get anything out of. We have templated copy for stuff. It's a little hard to make a full snapshot for things like brand voices and instructions and stuff like that, just because that does get pretty deep into the specificity, yeah, into the specifics of an individual business. You do kind of have to make sure that that's dialed in for that business. Um, but all you have to do is make sure that it's turned on. So that first step, turning on the AI employee, is something anybody can do at any point. So watch the replay here or watch through the playbook and make sure that you have AI employee turned on. Then you will have access to conversation AI and will be able to go through and customize all those fields as needed.
Great. Another question that popped up here was, when doing the bot training and correcting it, let's say putting a thumbs down, how
Mhm.
long does it take for that to take action to replace the previous message?
Oh, that's instantaneous.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
as
Nice.
as long as you save it. When you save it, if you have multiple knowledge bases, which in our use case you probably wouldn't, but just in case you did, make sure that you assign it to the right one so that FAQ will be assigned to the knowledge base that that bot is going to reference, because it's technically possible to have more than one knowledge base. Um, yeah, as long as you assign it the right one, once you save it, it's added to the FAQ list, and that bot is going to reference that knowledge base in its conversations. That update happens instantaneously.
Nice. Another question here is, how do I shut it off if I don't want to, if for some reason it's going bonkers? Is there like an
Yeah,
emergency button? How do I shut it off?
totally. So let's go back to deployment really quick because it's just the opposite of what I'm showing you here. Click on the bot and it'll be on autopilot. You can just set it to off.
Okay.
There's also some cool advanced stuff we're not really covering super in depth here about workflow actions for when you can specify to have the bot go to sleep for a certain amount of time, and or turn off for a particular contact, maybe after an appointment is set or like at some point in the flow you want that bot turned off for that particular contact or at that particular point in the flow, but you still want it on for others. There's a lot of different completely granular control that you actually do have, but the kill switch, the easy beginner version, is just go to its settings here and you can choose whether it's on autopilot, suggestive, or off.
Awesome. Couple of questions around the oh, that's not relevant there. I'm gonna keep looking through these here. There's
Yeah,
some
all
general
good. While you're
questions
doing
around the
that,
platform. So
I will talk us through some of our live support and resources as well as your homework for today. This is, a workshop. You've got homework. So, first of all, you guys can get live help from our team one-on-one. If you're on a trial right now, you'll get on a kickoff call. In general, though, we have 24/7 live Zoom support. So you can click on this link, speakwith.us/live/walkthrough. That will take you to a Zoom room with a support member from our team where they're going to help you with some of these very basic pieces of your account setup. So, like turning on the AI employee and just making sure you know how to get access to those features, just getting the very baseline foundational stuff, especially for non techie people. You might as well just have us hold your hand through it. There's some other pieces too that are just important for every HighLevel account, whether or not you're doing AI social media handler, some like just initial setup pieces. You just have to do it once and then you'll be good to go for the rest of time. And that's what that team kind of specializes in, helping you implement, just kind of get over that first hurdle, making sure that you're logged in properly, that you understand the difference between agency view and sub account view, that you've got a good lay of the land, etc. Super helpful. And then even for veteran users, you can get on 24/7 live Zoom support for questions about implementation, struggles with your prompting, or any of those bot settings that we talked about. That is live help on Zoom. And then resources, we have two fantastic playbooks. I already referenced the AI social handler playbook. Everything that we covered on this workshop is also covered in course format in the AI social handler playbook. You'll just want to visit that link that will be in the chat. And then we also actually have a whole social media manager playbook that I do want to recommend as well. It's kind of like a companion, a supplemental piece. We didn't cover the content of that playbook in this workshop, but there's a whole other side of HighLevel that actually deals with the content. So when we were talking about earlier, the actual creative scheduling posts, putting captions on there, there's a whole social manager element of HighLevel where you can connect accounts and manage social media posting with a calendar and categories and queues and analytics and engagement, all this great stuff. That is the social media manager side of things. And we have a whole playbook on that as well. So for folks who do want to not just offer the conversational AI stuff and the sales pipeline stuff, but actually maybe you are that agency that does creative or works with businesses on their social strategy for their content, you can use HighLevel to absolutely blow that up. It works really, really well hand in hand with a good AI social handler. And so I wanted to share that with you as well. Again, that content is not covered in this workshop. We didn't see any of that live, but it's a fantastic recorded course format where you can learn all about that side of things as well. And then let's get to your homework, of course. You want to get on your kickoff call, get on with our support team live. I just showed you how to do that. Access and review both of these playbooks that I just told you about. And then, of course, set up and deploy your first social media handler. You guys have everything that you need in order to succeed with this. There is, of course, future steps that you could take to expand, become more expert at whatever, but we're not here to tell you that you need to go practice for 6 months or go get a computer science degree or have way more chops, or I'm here to tell you that you have everything that you need now. So that's your homework assignment. Go ahead and set up your first social media handler, even if it's just a test for yourself to play around while you build confidence to potentially approach your first client or your first prospect, to potentially get an opportunity to work with a business in this capacity. Don't let that stop you from just setting it up hypothetically, right? Go through all the steps, get to the point where you are confident in your ability to launch an AI social media handler. So that way, when you do get your first client, you will be off to the races and you'll be getting them results within a day. Think of all the agencies that you've ever heard of, or if you've never heard of it, it's very common that a small business starts working with an agency and then it takes like 2 or 3 weeks to actually launch whatever services it is that they're launching. HighLevel gives you the ability to onboard a new client and start getting them results with the service, like an AI social media handler, like within a day. Think of how quickly you could get this set up and start wowing that client with just, it's not, maybe not perfect, maybe it'll get better, but wow, they showed up and they implemented this, and now boom, their AI social handler is off to the races, rocking and rolling within like a day of us talking together. That's the point that you want to be at before you even start that conversation. So get to that point, set up and deploy your first social media handler, even if it's just a test for yourself. And then lastly, post about it. Make sure you are in our Facebook community and that you share with us what you're able to achieve. If you implemented this for your business or for a client's business, shout it from the rooftops. We want to celebrate the fact that you got it launched with you too. That is the win already right there. And then, of course, as time develops, as you start to see results from it, get testimonials from happy clients, we want to hear all about your success stories, what you were able to achieve in your own business or in a client's business with the AI social handler. So those are your 4 pieces of homework. I have been talking so long now, so I'm going to shut up. But yeah, JB, what else do we got?
We got to take action,
Oh, yeah.
and so does everyone else. So, how many of you are ready to take on the challenge of setting up your conversation AI, connecting it to your Instagram, your Facebook business page, maybe turning on some ads to drive some traffic with the messaging as the call to action, maybe reaching out to some old people that you follow and re engaging the conversation again? And if you are not too savvy with social media, start with one profile and get up and running. Happen, I know we went over a lot of things today, and I know a lot of people have a lot of questions. Most of them may be technical, some of them might be strategic, but here's my invitation to everyone. Comment below, Q and your question, and after the live, we will get to those questions. And if you have some personal questions around, setting it up for a certain industry or setting it up, for a particular type of client, definitely jump on that live walkthrough call link and speak to one of our support professionals who can walk you through step by step on how to solve that question or concern you have. Happen AI employee playbooks always getting updated. We got a bunch of new additions coming up here for the fall. Man, thank you so much for hanging out and really making this easy to consume, and the feeling of I can actually do it too. So I really appreciate what you do for us here in the community, and teaching and sharing and adding some fun to it too.
Yeah, it was a blast. I'm grateful to have been able to connect with you guys. Thank you so much for having me. I hope that I was able to impart a bit of my wisdom, experience, and also just my sense of confidence in HighLevel being able to deliver what it promises. Hopefully, I showed you guys that it really is pretty easy to set up. So if you guys have any increase a sense of confidence that you know where you are headed with your business, that means I did my job, and that's all I can ask. So take big action, guys. I encourage you to take that next step now that you have that clarity. And I can't wait to see what you guys do with it and read about your stories in the Facebook group, see your videos, and see your success.
Look, y'all, help me give a round of applause to Happen in the comments. Share one takeaway or two that you got, and thank you for joining us. We got more coming your way. So if you haven't yet, make your way to our events page, see where we're going to be at, and see what next events we got coming up. Thank you so much for joining us. Happen, I think we got to get out of here, man. We got more projects to
Time
work
to
on
go.
for the
Work
next
to
promotion.
do.
Let's do it. All right, y'all. Take care.